Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Brian Nussel.
And I'm Kathy Mackey. Brian and I are the proud founders of Center Stage. Whenever we get together, we find ourselves reminiscing on how much fun we had and the many trials and tribulations we experienced during those early years.
So Kathy, remind me of how did we decide which movies to choose for our screenplays?
We chose movies that were timely, exciting, and appealing, but at the same time had broader messages of friendship, overcoming adversity, and learning from people that are different than themselves.
Right. And Kathy, isn't that the idea that inspired the name Center Stage?
Exactly. We chose a notable theatrical term that refers to the deeper meaning and objectives of our club. We are about theater, yes, but what is really at the center of our club is bringing people from different communities together and celebrating our differences.
Kathy, can you give the audience a look at Center Stage by sharing some funny stories?
Brian, I hope you're not talking about that time we raised your SpongeBob SquarePants underwear out of the pool.
Of course not. And thanks for bringing that up. No, I'm talking about the everyday things that you remember.
Oh, so you mean like Johnny's volcanic sneezes during performances? Or maybe Nina's consistent desire to visit the vending machines? Thomas's impeccable air guitar skills? Or the fact that Claire's normal wardrobe already included a costume for her lead role in Slick?
Yes. What else can you remember?
Well, do you recall Daquan's Michael Jackson dance moves? And some of our members requiring their own vows come finale?
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Or remember the warm-ups before rehearsing a dance number? So intense were our members in warming up that they also needed to cool down before any
You're right, Kathy. In many ways, our cast members were predictable.
However, our members were also full of surprises. The night of the show, we crossed our fingers that mics would work and cues would be hit. Amazingly, though, when the surprises came, they actually enhanced the performance. Members improvised, covered for each other, and sometimes the audience believed that it was all planned out. Brian and I will spare you the long version of how and why Center Stage came to be, but would like to share a bit about its origins. Brian and I met and became friends as students at Wilson Elementary School. Wilson was selected to implement a program called Inclusion, where students with special needs were immersed in regular classrooms. It was at Wilson that we learned the richness of friendships that could develop in a diverse community of learners. In middle school, Brian developed his creative talents, while I learned leadership and organization skills, and we both pursued our passion for theater. In our early high school years, Brian wrote an adaptation of the movie Titanic that was performed by his friends in Court 2 and their teachers. This is where the idea of adapting popular movies originated. In the spring of 2008, the end of our sophomore year, Brian and I were lamenting the fact that special and general education students at the high school really didn't interact with each other, even though they shared some classes and crossed paths in the hallway all day long. It didn't take long for us to realize that our common interest in theater was the perfect venue for us to make a difference. As class president, I knew something of the school's organization and the logistics of starting up a club. While I planted the seeds with the school's administration, we each began to promote the idea among our respective circles of friends. That summer, we worked together on a script adapting the movie High School Musical, inserting real Southside personalities and characters, and tailoring dialogue and music to the Southside experience that we wanted to celebrate. We planned how we would handle, recruit, cast, rehearse, find facilities, and create sets and costumes. Central to our design was the concept of pairing special education students with other students in complementary roles. We were thrilled when the school agreed with our proposal and recognized us as an official club. We tried to anticipate and address the obstacles that we would face, but there were many we could not have imagined. One surprise was the help that came from everywhere. Parents, students, teachers, administrators, the tech club, the theater club, and volunteers from the community. Whenever Brian and I felt all alone with the weight of the world on our shoulders, which was a weekly phenomenon, we reached out and were overwhelmed by the people who believed in us. Many of the regular education students that joined our club saw the experience as any other extracurricular activity. It was so rewarding to see their perspectives change as they began to engage with their special education counterparts. The two communities came to appreciate the amazing qualities of their fellow thespians. Barriers came down, relationships formed, and every member felt they were getting more than they were giving. When the performance came at the end of the year, it was a spectacular event with an overwhelming turnout from the school community. Everything came together majestically, and the mishaps that Brian and I fretted over never materialized. Each of our members were impressive in their spirit and panache in delivering their lines, songs, and dance numbers. After that show, the reputation of Center Stage was sealed. The second year of the club had more members, more support, more interest from the school community, and recognition in the broader Rockville Center community as well. What Brian and I are most proud of is that Center Stage flourished and continued to grow to include 130 members today. Now there's even a new program, Center Stage Squared, that introduces students to theater by bringing high school students to the middle school. We are honored that the Education Foundation has chosen us to accept this prestigious award, but humbly recognize that there are so many people that deserve an equal share in this recognition. If we could hold our applause until the end, that would be greatly appreciated. Firstly, we'd like to recognize the student leaders that followed us in shepherding Center Stage to the great success it has achieved. These students who have brought their spirit, talent, hard work, and love to Center Stage have truly created something beautiful. Past presidents and club officers include
Rex Cesario, Kelly Kirk, Gentile, Caitlin Short, Schwegel, and Brian McAvoy.
And Kelly Limerick. Next, we would like to call out the contributions of the club advisors, teachers, and volunteers that worked side by side with Brian and myself and our successors. At the risk of forgetting some, we'd like to call out for recognition
Ms. Peck, Ms. Bertola, Mr. Delaney, Ms. Mansour, Ms. Vogel, Mr. Reed, Ms. Ingrilli, Mr. Rosenthal, and Adam Stevens.
Know that Center Stage benefited greatly from the advocates at the top of the house, and would like to thank Dr. William Johnson, Superintendent of Schools, and Dr. Carol Burris for their support and guidance. Brian and I were blessed to have the support of our parents and the parents of so many other members. Dads became amateur carpenters and worked with the tech club to construct sets. Moms were mainstays at rehearsals and backstage, and here's to the sewing moms who made the costumes. And don't
forget the parents that drove us home from rehearsals and helped us practice lines.
There are two very special people whom we haven't recognized yet. I've saved them for last because of the magnitude of their contributions. One is a giant and one is an angel. Anyone who has been even remotely affiliated with Center Stage knows of the two people I'm about to describe. She is a giant not only because of the important position she serves in the school district, but because of her integrity, the strength of her character, and her courage in standing up for the principles Center Stage represents. This giant allowed us to stand on her shoulders when we struggled to get facilities and funding, and she negotiated scheduling and availability of students with moderators of competing clubs. This giant made sure that we always had an advisor, oftentimes filling in herself. She was our mentor, confidant, and friend.
Of course, the person we're describing is Mrs. Noreen Leahy.
Another special person is an angel, because she was always there behind the scenes, guiding and directing us with her incredible talent and experience. But she never took center stage, pun intended. Ryan and I were experienced actors, but we were new to production and direction. Our angel was a master at both and unselfishly shared and continues to share herself with us and the other members. She has boundless energy and an equal measure of patience. Her leadership, humor, and compassion kept us on track and continues today, 6 years later.
Of course, the angel of center stage is our very own Miss Ellen White.
Mrs. Reed, Audra Ceruto, Tito Ricas, and the entire Rockwell Center Education Foundation for nominating Center Stage for this award. Can I please ask all of those in the Center Stage community, past and present, including student members and leaders, moderators, teachers, volunteers, administrators, parents, and other supporters to stand and be recognized. I'd like to convey how Center Stage has impacted our lives and the lives of our friends.
Center Stage helped and taught us about communication and teamwork and having a good time, helping each other out, and working together.
As I reflect on some of the most meaningful experiences in my life, I've come to realize that the friends that I have made in Center Stage were some of the most genuine and beautiful. The lessons I learned from these incredible people have helped me make meaningful relationships with a diverse college community. As I look forward into my future, the experiences I have had with these remarkable individuals will continue to help me and my Center Stage peers empathize with others and better understand the dignity that each person deserves, as well as the contribution that each person made to our world. Thank you all, and we look forward to seeing you at Center Stage's performance of
Southside Glee.